so on. Now this is a narrow gauge car. It's operating on 3-foot wide railroad track. It's narrower than what we have out in the real world. But this is Disneyland after all, and fantasy reigns supreme. Anyway, this particular car again was part of the Retlaw 1 train. There is a Retlaw 2 train. Retlaw 2 train is our red train today. It was the freight train that had the gondola cars and the stock cars in it. It's still here today. Originally it was 5 cars long. Today it's 7 cars long. They added additional cars for more passengers. So this particular car has been in the park ever since opening day in 1955. Wow. It is 5/8 scale model. It is based on a Pullman or a Pullman Palace car, a Wagner car. You may be familiar with that. This particular car, again, is 5/8 scale. If I was standing in the real car, there would be a lantern hanging, a lamp hanging from the ceiling, and this would be a lot taller. It wouldn't be bumping my head in. However, Mr. Disney knew he couldn't find any 5/8 scale people. So because of that, the doors themselves are 6 feet tall. So people go through the car. This train was a little hard to load back in the old days because of the bus seats, and there was just a narrow single aisle up and down the way. The Retlaw 2 train is still here in the park, although the Retlaw 1 train was sold except for this car. Anybody know why I use the term Retlaw?
Because it's Walter backwards.
It's Walter backwards.
Yay!
One of the few, yes, the Retlaw Corporation owned the trains. They were not owned by Disneyland. In fact, the Retlaw Corporation did not release ownership until 1982. The Santa Fe Railroad was a sponsor. They started sponsoring the railroad prior to it being built, actually. The railroad was first operational on June the 18th of 1955. It helped build the park, by the way, bringing supplies around the area. So this particular train operated on it. The original track was 1.2 miles long. It has been extended to 1.5 miles. It is a 20-minute trip around the park. So this particular car was originally called the Grand Canyon. Now this particular car used to stop only at the Main Street station because that was its station. The other station, which was called Frontierland, which is now on the opposite side of the rail, originally was about 75 yards further south and on the left side. Now the Frontierland station used to have to wait in a little cattle corral to get on the cars, and the Retlaw 2 train, the freight train, was the only one that stopped there. When you got on the train, you went all the way around the park, embarking and debarking right at that particular point. There were no other stations. The train could not stop at Main Street, and this train here that you're on now, when it was complete, could only stop at Main Street. There were switches to make the trains go around each other. And if you're up there, if you're looking sometime, you may look at the rail on the far side of the station, and you'll see a little bit smaller rock. That is the original 5/8 scale ballast that Mr. Disney had put in on his railroad. So they had 2 trains, and we right now are seated, or you're seated right now at New Orleans Square Station, which was built in the 70s, and making way for Pirates of the Caribbean. When we go by the station, you're going to be able to hear the telegraph. The telegraph will be pounding out Morse code. Sam Morse invented that in the 1800s, and what it says is, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Here age can relive memories of yesterday, and youth can look forward to the challenges of tomorrow." Part of Mr. Disney's opening speech. Now I paraphrased it a little bit, but that's what it says. So this particular car has been useful throughout its lifetime. Now in 1958, Mr. Disney made a mistake.
Oh.
Heresy, heresy! Alarm, alarm!
Never.
He installed the Grand Canyon diorama. Grand Canyon diorama is really a nice piece of artwork. Really shows very well, except when you went through in this train, you were seated again, shoulder to shoulder, 4 across. I was going to say abreast. 4 across. So if you had to look over at this side, you're seated over here, you had to look all the way through the other people and out the dinky windows. And also again, the car, mentioned before, was hard to load. So Mr. Disney called Bob Gurr, one of the original Imagineers. Bob Gurr is very, very famous.
We met him.
He's a very nice gentleman. I've seen him Very nice gentleman. He designed the omnibus, the fire truck, the O3 cars, the monorail, the Utopia cars are all his designs, plus much more. Mr. Disney called on him to make another train. They met at the Main Street station. He told Bob what the problem was, about the loading problem and everything. And the minute Bob stepped off the Main Street station, he saw his answer. It was on trolley cars. So he made a train pattern after those trolley cars. So Mr. Vern decided to bring that train in the middle of 58. So by the end of 1958, we had 3 trains, we had 3 locomotives. Fred Gurley was here. It had been dedicated the same day we dedicated the Grand Canyon. Fred Gurley was a president of the Santa Fe Railroad. He also gave Walt the Cephomore that we have over here at our station at Frontierland. Okay, so this train became superfluous, really. It was only used for inclement weather. They built other trains in the meantime, and in 1974, the decision was made to sell this particular train, the Retlaw 1. It was sold except for one car, which the car you're riding in. All the rest of them, except for one, went up to Northern California, up to San Luis Obispo, where you can ride them today. And they are still, well, except for one, they are still lettered for the Santa Fe, Disneyland and Santa Fe Railroad. That's up in San Luis Obispo, Santa Margarita, actually. So, we were left with this car. Well, what were we going to do with this car? Well, they knew there would be a bicentennial year coming up in 1976. It was converted from the Grand Canyon to that bicentennial car and was named the Lilly Belle after Lilly and Disney. In fact, Lillian took a lot of pride in this particular car. Well, after she did a few things to it. When the car first came out of the roundhouse, it had white wicker furniture in it. She was very unhappy with the wicker furniture, knowing that that was not really Walt's taste. Walt would have loved to have had the Victorian furniture. Well, there was an auction going on in Long Beach. Seems as if this ship called the Queen Mary was being anchored there permanently, and they had some furniture to get rid of. So she went to the Queen Mary, bought the benches that we have here, the 3 of them, had them reupholstered in the burgundy fabric, and brought them on board the Lilly Belle and disposed of the white wicker furniture. So, we've gotten to this point where the car was decorated, and the first VIPs to ride in the coach was Emperor Hirohito and his wife from Japan. It was his first trip outside of Japan, and that was on October the 28th, 1975. The Emperor was asked after his tour of the United States what he liked most about coming here. What do you think it was?
The train!
The dinosaurs at Disneyland. That was his favorite trip.
That was
favorite part of the whole trip was the dinosaurs at Disneyland. So he rode in this particular car, not as we see it today, because there were a couple of other additions to the car. There was a buffet where that love seat is. There was a buffet, and there was another small chair. There was also a lot of showcase pieces here showing off what about Disneyland. That lasted for a while up till about 1995. 1995, the car had a lot of damage and they pulled it off. It got damaged from rain. There were vents in the roof that let in water and let out hot air. Not that I don't know anything about hot air. Anyway, it would let hot air out. So, because of that, the car was taken off the rails and put back in the roundhouse. 2005, the car was found again. In the meantime, a lot of